Hey, Bohemia with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart Readings, and today we're going to do a reading to see should you do some kind of magical working or some intentional kind of manifesting kind of situation. We'll go ahead and see any clues that it has. If there's a yes, like what would that be? That, your spirit crew is like, hey, check out this sector of your life and, do a working or manifestation for this, okay? Or spell work, whatever you call it in your traditions. We have Sodalite, Howlite, Rose Quartz. We have a Jasper, Tiger's Eye, Tree Moss Agate, Bloodstone, Amethyst, and Unakite, or Unakite down here. Go ahead and pick a crystal, and I'll see you on your timestamp. All right, for those who chose Sodalite, let's go ahead and see should you do a spiritual working of any kind at this time. Let's go ahead and pull a card for you. I can see some of you have already been preparing, so maybe you've been getting some kind of ingredients or, things like that during your studies. We have a wish. Let's go ahead and get a potluck mix of cards. I have some tarot all potlucked up. We have the High Priestess and we have wish. So this looks like you guys have already been pretty decided on this. Your will and your intent is already trying to create this situation, but I do see you here reading with your cards, getting the reading here, trying out different things, maybe powering up with a crystal. You could be was it charging your crystals with new moon energy? I'm actually filming this on the new moon in Aries. So yes, I feel like this, you guys look like it's pretty much a go. It's kind of like your wish is the command of your own fingertips here to do some spiritual working. And High Priestess says go full ceremonial. So do a reading to read your situation, get your helper crystals, sit in your wisdom here, make sure that you're balanced with as above, so below, and what would be accurate and actually help in this situation and be in alignment with your morals as the High Priestess, and have your awareness of the soul history, because the High Priestess holds the Akashic records. So she really looks at everything from a full spectrum and then is able to most accurately get in tune with the best wishes, not just like momentarily, oh, I want this, I want that, I don't want this, I do want that, and then doing a spell for it or something. But she really sits with her truth, the actual truth of the situation, understands where the other person or, people involved are coming from. What are the spiritual ramifications and successes that can come from the situation? And what are the best, most aware spiritual ways to go about getting it? Okay. So I definitely think that you guys could be able to do it. The working itself might be very simple because here we have a dandelion seed, but the intent is very massive and the supportive energy around yourself looks like it's very vast if you utilize your spiritual resources like crystals. So you did pick sodalite here, and it does look very similar to the crystal there. There's also quartz here. That's usually what like a crystal ball is made out of, is quartz. All right, so go ahead and tap into that, and I'll talk to you again on another one. For those of you who chose Howlite, go ahead and see. Now, I see for some of you, you could be wanting to do some kind of preparation magic, like protective. Yeah, you guys need to divine more before you do things, okay? Yeah, because here it's saying that you don't always see all the factors. So it's saying don't rush into spiritual work. Let's go ahead and get your tarot. Don't rush into spiritual work without also like first taking note of the situation, okay? Because we have divination reversed here with the calories. And we have crossed here. So I do think you guys do need some kind of like preventative protection magic, something like this. That's a big yes. That would be something healthy and good to tap into, to get some like purified energy around you, protection. Yes, because here we have this magical child safe to ride on the unicorn. There's the wall back here representing protection around this child, and the strong solar energies everywhere looking out and protecting this child as they're able to freely go about the garden. But here we have some things trying to come in and snare things, entangle things, and make it not a safe space, and make it some creepy, fairy tale kind of thing for this magical child. So This is saying read into the situation a bit more. Okay, get more information here about what is actually going on. Be aware of a magical recoil that could happen. So if you guys are the ones who are wanting to cross somebody else, send some negative energy, it could be that the spirit world is seeing them as not fully guilty of what you're saying, or there's an innocent that could be affected in the way you're going about things, or that there is just like some kind of protection or something that should be around you first, or that could be around them. There just is more, period, that you need to read into the situation to either get yourself cleansed and protected, or before you move forward with this working. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. For those of you who chose the rose quartz heart, let's go ahead and see, should you do a magical working? We already had a card flip over that quickly. We have trickster reverse, so there could be some tricksters you need to get out of the way, okay, that are opposing your work here. Yeah, villains. There's some negative energy here, and this person could do some kind of performative magic. They could say, oh, like they could pretend they do their chakras or they cleanse. We got a whole reading wanting to come out here, something like this. It could be from somebody who proclaims to be a spiritualist or something like that. That there's some kind of interference or negative vibes from. It could also say, hey, if you're saying that you're this spiritual person, like, are you like walking around with polluted energy, which basically enacts itself as a trickster to you? It like messes up your plans, or are you actually like working your spiritual concepts? Do you actually make sure you're in alignment? Do you actually work on your spiritual mind, body, soul? Do you actually cleanse your energies? Okay. Ace of Swords, that's the answer here. So they're saying get your mind right first, cleanse your energies, do your cut and clears. If you are having trouble and you're saying, well, I want to use my spiritual resources to help with this, they're saying don't just, again, do kind of lip service or performative kind of stuff. Make sure you're actually living out your spiritual path and showing these kind of practices and morals and ethics for yourself. All right, go ahead and cut the cords. A lot of people are like that. Like they really have this whole image, and then when you talk to them, they don't actually do anything for the spiritual world. They just like to be with the trend right now, and they just want to be included in like a label, this kind of uniform that says, oh, I'm a good person or something like that, right? And they don't actually, they just like people walk in and be like, oh my gosh, are you mystical? Do you know about astrology? Because you have a crystal here. So they're saying there's so much more than that for you, okay? You're somebody who can go in depth with yourself, and it's good to take out kind of the spiritual trash and get all of that out of your way and not have things kind of tricking you and tripping you up and making you stub your pinky toe. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. Bye. For those of you who chose the red Jasper here, who chose, ooh, we have cards like, didn't even get them in front of the camera, and it's throwing cards really in this future. So it's not really coming to be, something's not coming to be. Some of you already did something. Let's get a tarot here. You're trying to get something to work. You're trying to make it move forward, but it's not at this time. You pick this red Jasper, and we have this Ace of Wands, but future reverse. Really in this is talking about spiritual energies, like being in the physical world, or like how we're souls incarnated. And then we're like, wait, what happened? We're really here, right? So this is saying the spiritual energies are not taking to the physical world for some reason. And you're over here with this wand, the Ace of Wands, like the magician, but for some reason, what you're trying to get from like as above is not happening down below. We don't have a future of it. Like we can't see it here coming to be yet. It's not working. So something here, it could be your wants, your desires in the situation, could be temporary, they could be rash, they could be some reason. Maybe your spirit world is saying no because you haven't thought everything out. You're rushing into something, or it could be that your energy is like, this is coming from anger, it's coming from desire, it's coming from something, and that's not always bad, but it's not based upon anything. It's like not taking root on anything else. So you might just be like, well, I want to be rich at all costs. And they're like, okay, that's like a vague, but like intense thing that you're demanding of the spiritual world right now. Like, and ... like what else? Or you might be like, well, I hate my ex. Like, I want to do some magic. So, and they're just like, okay, and where are we going with this? It's kind of the vibe, okay? So it might be that maybe you're picking this card at a time where you're like, yeah, I'm just kind of like in a mood, or I have like an intense energy or like emotion that I don't know what to do with, but I'm not sure what I should create from it, is kind of the vibe. And the spirit world is kind of like, we don't know if we want to co-sign this right now because it doesn't seem like there's any legs to this, or that it's like coming from a good origin. It's just like this vague nebulous energy that's just kind of there, kind of floating around in the physical world, but not becoming anything, not really. It's kind of like if you said, who's going to help me with this magical spell, and the spirit world's all just quiet, like nobody volunteers basically. I'm not seeing like a guide or a deity come and say, oh, I'll help you with that. You know, quite often that's what happens, right? You'll even have deities come forward and say, hey, you should work this, or ancestors tell you what you should do to help different things in life. But here it's not the case at all. So I would go back to your question. Real magical work, you're always going to, it's like very introspective. You have to be very, raw and honest and truthful with yourself. You have to seek the origins of things. You need to look and see, what is the outcome of this actually going to be. Things like that. It's not just about, well, I will it, so it's going to happen. That's not it's a good way to run into a brick wall, right? Well, I'm gonna drive this car straight through the United States, so it's just gonna work. It's like, okay, you might have to take a left. So it's this kind of vibe, right? I feel like we're just not even to the point that we should be lighting a candle and doing something whatsoever. This could also be that you want to watch out where you're sourcing something from. You could just be putting money in people's pocket and they don't know what the hell they made that candle for. Like this is literally like an explosion. Like you think it's a candle, but it's dynamite. Like this is a cartoon, okay? Because they're not connected to above or below. They just appropriated it, y'all. All those candles that you see with some flowers and stuff on them, it's straight from copying black people magic. All right, it's straight from hoodoo. It's straight from magic from our diaspora. It's stolen. It's trending. And people don't actually know what they're doing with it. And they think it's cute and it makes them money. So it could be this kind of thing where you just like bought a candle. You just want to light it. You're impatient. And it's like, do you even know like who you would be connecting to, what you would be doing for yourself, what energies handled this candle before you got it? Or are you just going to light something that might be a ticking bomb and be like, okay, boom, I did something for my life because I'm impatient and I want to do magic to be powerful. So I don't know. I would say everybody can create, like we can all affect our lives. It's not negative to have willpower or to be mad or protective, or we don't villainize emotions like that, just as a raw state in magical working, right? But we do need to be smart and see, does it make sense? Do we know what we're doing, and does it make sense? And could we handle the consequences? And I feel like none of that is here. This reminds me, I'm going too long on this pile, so let me hurry up. But this reminds me of when I've had people who the spirit world has told them, like spelled my name in their readings or whatever, to come see me to like tutor them in magic and different things. And as soon as you start talking about any type of spiritual responsibility or just learning your craft or understanding your emotions and energies so that you can understand your psychic gifts and things, they're done. Like they're like, oh, okay, never mind. I just literally just want you to make me super powerful and let me do what I want. I'm like, I would be a really bad teacher if I was just like, yeah, just, do whatever you want and nothing will happen. It'll be great. Wink, give me your money. Like, no good magical teacher is going to do that. So anyways, I think y'all got the point. A lot of you probably instantly clicked off, to be honest, in this pile, but this is what I'm seeing. Back to the lab, okay? Back to the drawing board, and then come back again when you feel like you've sorted out your energies, your wants, your desires. You've looked at where you're sourcing your things and stuff like that, and you could have a different answer, okay? All right, for those of you who chose the tiger side, let's go ahead and see for you if any magical practicing work, manifesting work is recommended at this time or not, and what should it be if so, or any input if you had any plans to do any. Let's see, missed signals reverse. So you could be starting to figure out kind of what the spiritual guidance is at this time and what you should do. Missed signals. Okay, so I think here, if you are doing some kind of work, we have couple, the couple romantic energy here. This wouldn't be like a stereotypical, oh, love spell on someone. This could be communication spell. This could be, you pick tiger's eye, something to increase some confidence, to bring some readiness for yourself and the other to be able to do your best and kind of turn your hearts towards each other and express each other in the best way possible to you and another person. So it could be for a job. It could be like trying to make sure that you kind of heighten yourself and you get seen as an applicant, and that they'll actually listen, and your best qualities and communication flow will interact with each other between whoever's hiring and yourself, for example. But it can also definitely be romantic here if you're shy. To me, that's some of the best, like most effective type of like love magic. It's not just like one type of thing that's just obsession, right? It can turn into that though with a lot of people, because a lot of people won't check their motives and they don't know what they're doing. But usually what's good to do, like if people actually have good energy, like love energy with each other, is to just give them confidence, to just help their communication, ease communication, help remove any obstacles, and help give them confidence. And then their natural hearts will do the rest. So there could be this kind of energy for you guys. If you would be interested in kind of, we have the coconuts here. Coconuts can represent chastity and like protection and, you know, being kind of afraid to get out there and then coming on too strongly, right? You got to be careful with coconuts. They can do some damage, right, when they fall. So this here is kind of like easing things, breaking it open, letting the natural waters flow in the situation. That could be recommended, okay? That's what I'm seeing. Like, share, subscribe, or comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. Bye. For those of you who chose the tree moss agate, let's go ahead and see. Should you do any magical working or metaphysical work? What is recommended? Any feedback the spiritual world has on anything you had planned to do? Something of that nature, okay? Let's see. We have community. So maybe there was like some ceremony with others that you have been considering getting into and doing. Let's see what it said. 10 of Pentacles reverse. Okay, so you would want to be careful. It's very we got like plants here, an herbal tarot card, and then tree moss agate. So maybe you guys had thought of connecting with community in some way. Maybe you were even going to go outdoors, something of that nature, because we have the energy of all of this kind of plant community. Maybe you're going to go out and connect with your tree friends. This is saying here to consider well before you bring other people into your manifesting and your magical energy. A lot of people think of it the wrong way, and they're like, hey, the more the better. If I can use other people's energy to get what I want, then I'm going to do it, right? They might not say it to themselves that way, but that's what their intention is, right? Let me jump on this. Oh, there's some 444 thread going on. Let me put my manifestation in, because if they're getting it, I want a piece of their energy, right? I want a piece of this influencer's energy who's getting their spiritual things going off, so they say. So let me partake in that. But this is saying be very careful. Now, I can tell you, as somebody who's been like across this country in different psychic fairs, psychic things, different co-ops and spiritual communities of all different types, from just like new agey metaphysical to religious stuff I was raised into, hoodoo, root working communities, all of that. You have to be very careful, because a lot of times the perfect way for, like, let's say psychic vampires to set themselves up is to pretend that they're very giving, right? It's just like a lot of the spell workers and tarot readers you see that are highly successful on YouTube. They get plastic surgery and then they tell everyone that they did a magical working for it, that they did a spell, and then people believe it. And you can tell, like, dude, you just had work done. Like, are you serious? A love beauty spell? So there's, like, you know, I don't know what it is. Some people really fall for those kind of thin glamours. And so here, this is saying you don't want to do that. You want to be someone who's very grounded. You want to be someone who sees through things like this. So you don't just want to run pitter patter beat to some kind of collective or some kind of group and feel like, oh, I'm going to get the benefit of what I see this person getting, or these few people, or whatever, where maybe that's coming from the money they already had, privilege, surgeries, who knows how they're getting what they had, or it's coming because they take the energy off of everybody else, okay? It's important to always see yourself as somebody who can be healthy and spiritually autonomous and have your blessings without having trying to get them through somebody, because then we run the risk of becoming dependent on others, being a user of others, being a psychic vampire ourselves, or being used by the people who the reason they are so successful is because they drain people like you that come towards them. So there's just a big red flag for me with the Ten of Pentacles reverse. We have a lot of advice from your ancestors coming, like be careful what you participate in that's allegedly community. Is your energy right? If it is actually a good community and everyone is being equals, which is very rare. You see, there's only a few people here. The bigger things get, the chances of things keeping a pure energy go down and down and down. This is also talking about why a lot of witches and practitioners will decide to be solo versus be in a coven kind of vibe. Because let's say in a healthier way, let's say you want to do or less assuming way. Let's say you want to do magic with your family and you want to do, well, I just want to do money manifestations for our family, but you do it all in one working together. And you have even one person in there who doesn't really believe it, who curses out their mouth about it, who brings some negative energy to it. You just spoil that whole working. It's like if you're cooking in the kitchen and one person spits in the pot, right? Like dinner's ruined. Who wants to eat this? Maybe the person who spit in it. I don't know, right? It's the same exact thing with magic, manifesting, and everything else. So this is another thing I've seen people do where they will include their friends too much, or include that family member who kind of believes but's kind of wishy-washy. They'll include their family's like toxic partner or something in what they do and try to bless everybody. You might want to individualize things. And you might want to really, really watch out for including people into, your different workings and manifestations, who they might be like, good, if I can get something from it, cool, but I actually think what you're doing is trash and it's not right and you shouldn't do this and that. You know what I mean? So now you're wasting your energy and you're messing up what you were focused on by trying to include these other people. So there's a lot of advice. We could have a whole class, a whole seminar on, the different nuances that I'm seeing here in your cards, but there's just a lot of awareness to look into as you are considering doing your different magical working and manifestations. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. Side note, for those who are actually wanting to do work for your community, I think that's a brilliant idea, but like see the asterisk of everything else we just talked about. Okay, all right, talk to you later. Bye. All right, for those who chose Bloodstone, let's go ahead and get into this reading here. Should you do any magic? Is anything like that, manifesting magic, necessary, and advice on anything you were considering doing? Any insight, etc., etc. Here we go. Spectrum reverse. You guys may have a very niche type of manifesting or magic that you're good at. Don't try to feel like you have to be good at everything if what you really are is like a specialist with your spiritual energies. Also, it's kind of like, don't try to do every single thing every new moon or whatever if what you do need to focus on is like one thing to hone in. It's like each of these fixed signs need to have their energy right to uphold the energy of the world card, right? Like Aquarius needs to be Aquarius. It can't be over here trying to be Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. It needs to hold down its corner. So here it's saying that your energy can be too scattered sometimes. You could be trying to do what everyone else does, or maybe you have a lot of spiritual gifts, so it's hard for you to focus in just one area sometimes, because the world card says, I want it all. No, I want it all. Like, I need everything right now. But you're only going to have your whole be healthy if you can handle truly perfecting each little niche, okay? This, I would say for you guys, it could be very, very good for you guys to work seasonally. That's why a lot of magic starts out learning how to work the days of the week, the moon phases, the solar transits like equinoxes and solstice, because it teaches you to chill out, go with the energies that are currently at hand, honor the themes one by one, because each day, each zodiac sign rules a certain area of life. So if you learn to work the astrological wheel, you now have learned how to manage all the different energies of the zodiac of life, right? So you guys, it's like pared down. You'll get to the whole, but not by just like trying to overdo things right now and just having kind of like thin, messy magic everywhere, by trying to be like, I want the best perfect life every single time, but then we don't have depth with it. You don't want to have like the biggest cake ever, but then it's only like a quarter of an inch thick. You know what I mean? It would be better to have a small little cake, right? 4-inch cake in diameter, but it's tall and stacked and it's got all the fixings on it, than to have some thin little watered down cake that, but it looks big, right? So that's the energy with them. You have to break your success down. Don't overexert yourself too. Some of you might wait to do magical things and manifesting and then try to do way too much too quickly, too soon, like burn yourself out psychically and physically, okay? So this is saying, again, pace yourself. That's why we have all this cosmic timing. That's why even planets have orbits and, return cycles and things like that. You'll get there. You'll make a really, really good life. You're very in tune. You can be highly divine. You can have high success rate, but your energy needs to come in balance. Some of you also, your magic's not going to be true because you're not true to yourself. You're not honoring the way your mind or your spirit really works, or who you really are. You're not honoring your identifiers. This is saying you're hiding from yourself. You're trying to pretend to be somebody else in some way, or you're trying to be compartmentalized or not be authentic in who you are. So how can you fully be heard by the universe? How can you fully work your spiritual gifts if you're not being true to who you actually are? All right, that's what I'm saying. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. Bye. For those who chose Amethyst, the Amethyst heart here, let's go ahead and see any advice, insight, information from your spirit crew here. We're going to be looking to the cards to see, should you do any manifesting or magical working right now? Any advice, they've been giving these teaching lessons, anything to be aware of, to have heads up on, anything to focus on or to try spiritually. They're saying it doesn't have to cost a lot. All right, most folk magics, where the truth of all magics are, they don't cost a lot at all, and they have a lot of ways that you can work it when you have nothing at all. So keep that in mind. We got the Spectrum card again out of all of these, but it's upright this time. All right, let's go ahead and get a tarot card. The last group also got this one. We have the Knight of Cups reversed. So this one here, it's really good for this group for you to embrace your folk magics, to think simply about things. This picture shows cyanotype, which is a type of photography. Warning, photography, major and buff coming into the picture here now. But this is really cool, where you can use chemical development to put this in the sunlight. So you take something like this, you can print this on cloth or on paper, different things, and you put the cyan solution on it and you let it develop in the sun, and it makes the print of it. It's really cool. It was developed by a woman. And so this shows there's so many different ways to capture the spectrum of what we want to create in the physical world. There's so many different ways that we can go about it, okay? Interacting with the light spectrum here in the physical matrix that we're in, the physical incarnation that we're in, okay? So here with the Knight of Cups reverse, you might forget that. You might think there's only one way to get something done. You might think, I have to do it this way, or nothing's ever going to work. Some of you can be a little bit too absolutist in who you think you have to have romantically, or how you think your dream has to come. Here we have the Knight of Cups fighting, going with the flow, and realizing there is so many different ways to take a picture. There's so many different ways we can get to an end result. There's so many ways to make art. But here we're not believing that. We're thinking, no, it has to be this way. I have to do it this way. And so you're losing some of your authenticity. Now this group, I see you're open to it. You're trying to be your real self. But your emotions get in the way. Your emotions are very temporary and they're reactionary. Magic can be sometimes a great place to channel our emotions and to figure them out and find a use for them. However, we don't want them to control things, because they are things that transition, right? They are things that can be, here and then not here and again. So with this group, they're really saying, I wouldn't, don't do love magic and stuff like that. And don't do magic for your dreams when you're emotional. This group, you want to cut out emotionality. You're already very sensitive to signs and synchronicities. You throw out a lot of signals with your aura to the world around you. We got a lot of Pisces energy here, so maybe you guys have Pisces or water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio in your chart. We have Amethyst here. You might even have like Saturn in Pisces or something like that, outer planets, and you're learning to deal with Neptunian energy. Maybe you have connections to Neptune or in your 12th house. Could be a bit of Aquarian vibes here too, Uranian, Aquarian, 11th house vibes. But this is saying learning how your reality and your magic is not your temporary emotions, especially your fears and doubts, is like the power lesson you need to learn to have effective magic. Because what happens is you guys are so powerful innately. The Knight of Cups, the Cups who are natural magical practitioners, they're natural psychics and intuitives. They're naturally just working with the ethers, working with spiritual energy. It's not something that they have to try to do. It's something that they have to learn to or remember to do in a healthy way. So for you guys, what happens is you'll build something really, really good. You'll be overcoming a difficulty, and then you'll have like an emotional day where you feel depressive or worried or nervous or anxious or whatever it is, and you will throw an energy ball that is kind of anti your goal into your manifestation. And then it goes haywire, right? It starts to affect because you're an actually strong spiritual person. So then you'll see things start going wrong. You're like, oh wait, they canceled my interview for my dream job. Why did that happen? But you forget for like the 3-day weekend, you were sitting there depressed and you were having an Eeyore moment and you were thinking it wasn't going to happen. And you weren't even thinking that you're somebody who tends to always be the magician. You're always connected to the spiritual world. You're always sending out the signal of what you want. So basically it was like you went on your social media and did a PSA. Actually, I don't want this job. I don't believe in myself. Don't hire me. That's how strong your energy is. So what you need to do is start setting up spiritual boundaries for yourself, emotional boundaries for yourself. You need to set up your aura so that you can have a way of releasing your energy and emotions without it being set to anything I say or do. That's my magical command to the universe. Right? We would need to do a lot of like meditation lessons and, things like that so that you can start focusing your energies and nuances and learn how to separate, okay, this is what I'm feeling now, and I'm going to release it and express myself, but I'm not pushing it out there onto others. I'm not projecting it. I'm not painting my whole situation with this energy, right? You have to start learning how to separate those emotions and have those different nuances so that you can have a clearer picture. If we had covered this entire background with stuff, you wouldn't see a print here. You would just see, white everywhere. It wouldn't have been able to take an actual image, right? You have to know how to paint these nuances, and being full-fledged on with our emotions and things like that. Although initially it can feel truthful, it can be something that drowns out everything. And now we have nothing created, nothing manifested, and we're just sitting in a puddle, right? So this is the energy here. It sounds like a lot, but I would tell you guys, set up your energy field. Go into your aura. Have your place where you work on, your room where you work on your Akashic records, your room where you go to decompress and be protected and release your emotions safely. Your room where is your like magical working room that you visualize, where your manifestations are, and start working with your guides to help you know the nuances of those and to regulate, this is where my energy goes. So I'm not just an open faucet that's just spraying energy into every sector of life. And this will help you, okay? It'll probably help you focus at like work too and stay on task and not be a little passive aggressive or procrastinating when it's time to do different things for your dream, okay? It's a lot, but that's what I'm gonna leave it there for now. We got one more pile, so let's go ahead. These are quick picks. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. Bye. For those who chose Bloodstone on this Aries new moon day, well, for me at least, let's see, what should you do or not do when it comes to magical workings and manifestation? Any ideas, information, insight? Make sure to give flowers and respect to whomever you are working with spiritually. That has definitely come up. You guys got a whole reading. All right, so these are all the cards we got. Guidance, cost, new reversed, wish reverse, brilliance reverse, legacy reverse. So here, definitely this is saying to like pay proper tribute to your ancestors, your guides, your deities. As you do work, they want to help guide you in things a lot. There could be though where they're saying some of the things that you're trying to wish for this new moon, there's a no, or there's a reason that they don't need to come into the physical. You might need to talk to them about the high cost of certain things that you're requesting. A lot of times people shut down when they see stuff like this, but really what the spiritual world quite often means is change some nuance of something. All right, so yes, keep in mind that there is an exchange going on in this situation, and they want you to check in with seeing how things will play out, what would be the cost of doing business, so to speak, and maybe even the cost of what you were thinking of buying or doing doesn't need to be at that level. But what I was starting to say, I had to pause for a minute. What I was starting to say here is that people quite often will get nervous or upset when the spirit world is giving advice like this, but usually it's small nuances that they're asking us to change. Sometimes it could be like, you don't need to be doing that, but a lot of times things are about like just the slightest of temperature changes. It's like cooking, it's like artistic work. It's the same thing with magical work and manifesting. It could be just the slightest of nuances, the shifting of motives, the more accurate of ingredients that helps us get the real result that we want, instead of it scaring off the chart because of a tiny deviation from something. Okay, so here it could be asking you to recalibrate, be careful before you like send that wish off or do that magic. Okay, now we do have the wheel of the year here, so they could be saying work the magic of the wheel of the year. This particular deck is wheel of the year instead of the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, but it is a positive card. This is pointed at Yule, so maybe you already did something in regards to this around winter time, winter solstice. Maybe you need to consider that. Maybe when you're watching this is winter solstice. I'm actually filming this on spring equinox, so we're just past yesterday. Later yesterday is when spring equinox actually happened. Now we're in new moon and Aries energy, so there's this vibe going around of these kind of things here. All right, so this is saying to make sure to follow the seasons, follow the transits, use that to empower yourself. Don't work against it. That could say it would be a waste of magic, for example, if you're trying to accomplish something and for whatever reason the astrology that day is like really against it, and giving you a difficult time. It's kind of like, what's the point? So yeah, right now when I'm filming this, we are literally 0 degrees Aries sun, 0 degrees Aries moon, exact Aries new moon conjunct Mercury. All right, so this is what I'm seeing. You have good fortuitous energy here. I do see positive energy for sure with this Jupiter vibe. I would look to find transits that are harmonious for yourself. Make sure to pay the respects to your deities and ancestors so things don't get thrown off because of any disgruntled deities or something like that. But I do think you can get this all together flowing so you can get a positive result. All right, this is what I'm seeing, y'all. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again on another one. Bye.